Good morning, everyone. The world is rapidly progressing, and so are the technological aspects in every decade. Who could have imagined that a simple technology can do wonders connecting billions of people across the globe through a common link? But it has been made possible by the invention of internet, and today millions of people every day spend their time on internet browsing through various websites as per their interest. With the era of internet emerging and everyone moving online, being familiar with web development, leading to this growing demand for websites and related applications, and aiming to educate the young minds and nurture the real talents having the interest to get started in this domain. I welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of the webinar on full stack web development and career opportunities organized by the Artificial Intelligence Club, VIT Bhopal, with the sole aim of giving the thrust to get an idea about this field of development. We are quite privileged to have with us our Honorable AI Division Head, Dr. S. Southaranjan Sir, Dr. AVR Mayuri Ma'am, AI Club Coordinator, and our young, lovely audience for attending this insightful event and making this event more diverse by their presence. We are excited to have such a large number of participants attending this webinar and have the will to explore this exciting domain. We are ecstatic by your presence and look forward to seeing your participation throughout. Now, I would like to request Dr. AVR Mayuri Ma'am, AI Club Coordinator and Faculty Coordinator of this event, to give us a brief introduction to the webinar.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for today's webinar on full stack development and career opportunities. In today's webinar, you will learn about the various aspects of full stack development, the responsibilities of a full stack developer, and the various career options that are available for the aspirants who wants to get expertise in this field. Full stack engineers combine the front end and back end web development skills. They are usually skilled up with computer programming, user experience design, project management, and client communication. They are responsible for a wide range of responsibilities in the development and maintenance of an application or a website. This requires adaptability, innovative thinking, and a combination of technical programming expertise and high-level client communication. This specialized hybridization has generally increased the demand for full stack developers in a number of professional positions. Full stack developers are perhaps some of the most highly regarded professionals within the field of web development. The webinar encourages the aspirants to look into a few different career options in full stack development. Hope all of you will gain useful insights from this webinar. Thank you. Over to you, Nishi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for explaining to our participants about today's webinar. Now, I would like to request Dr. S. Southaranjan Sir, Division Head AI, to give a welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Audible?
Yes, sir.
So, good morning, one and all present here. So, the warm welcome for all the participants for this workshop, and then coordinator Dr. AVR Mayuri ma'am, and students, coordinators of AI Club. I thank all the students of AI Club are arranging such a kind of this particular workshop. Definitely, it will give you a lot of insights of full stack developer and its opportunities. As well as the club, another one initiative of this particular webinar. Definitely, you open your eyes on what opportunities in the area of full stack development. Already, Mayuri ma'am mentioned that. So, what are the areas, domains? It's actually requirement is there in that full stack development. So, everywhere now you might be received in the placement office for the full stack developers. How much demand is growing nowadays? So, for that only, we are decided to start this particular webinar to all the students of VIT Bhopal University, understanding of what is full stack development and what kind of opportunities we are getting after that completing the graduation. So this is the main aspect of this particular webinar. And these are the one of the initiative of AI Club. I know there is a technical club, so continuously conducting a lot of technical events. So last month they conducted 2 days workshop on the mobile application development and different areas of webinars. Now they started now in AI Club, it's going to do that. And another events are actually scheduled for this kind of webinars. Then I congratulate all the students of coordinators of AI Club. So wonderful arrangement of one by one scheduling of events. And Dr. AVR Mayuri ma'am, she is also continuing supporting of that AI Club that she is a coordinator of the club. So I appreciate that coordinators also. And I all the best for all participants today. They are coming for that event. No more weightage of that. So then I finished off my speech. Then I handed over the expert, Ragil Kishan. So he is a full stack developer. So now I hand it over to Ragil Kishan, and then you formally invite our esteemed speaker today. So thank you from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for setting such a high note with your kind words. With this, we come to an end of the inauguration ceremony. We'll now begin with our most awaited webinar, for which I think all of you are eagerly waiting. The webinar on this intimidating topic will be taken by a very successful speaker who is himself established in this domain and has extensively worked as a full stack developer. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our expert speaker for today, Mr. Rahul Krishnan M, engineer at PayPal, full stack developer. Mr. Rahul is a dynamic, driven product leader with experience building a variety of successful digital products and stellar teams. He is fascinated by technology and the potential social and economic impact that technology can have on a truly global scale. He has been an active member of the Google community since 2015. He has previously worked as a full stack engineer at 1DPO and software engineer at GIST Technology and Moneycap.com. I would now like to take the privilege of inviting Mr. Rahul Krishnan M for his session and sharing his expertise and valuable knowledge with our participants. Over to you, sir.
So am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks Nishi and Soundarajan sir and Mayuri ma'am for giving a nice intro for me. And yeah, today I know it is Saturday, so I'll make it all the points very crisp and very informative. So regarding myself, I am Rahul Kishan and I work at PayPal, and before all this I worked in various startups. So I know how the startup environment work, and as well as the MNC environment work, as well as the full stack demand over the market. So I would like to share all those things what I know, and it is completely based on my opinions, not the company's opinion, or I don't represent PayPal in this session. It's everything is on completely on my opinions. So yeah. So I'll start why I started full stack development. So I initially started as an Android developer at way back in my college. So a friend of mine shared me a website, and then I understood how simple Android development was. Initially, there in my days in college, there was not much Android development, or and there is no much help for Android development. So a single website helped me to develop Android applications. And then I jumped into a startup, and then I started to understand Java. as a backend developer, and then I understood React and React Native and Android. So I worked in both front end. The most part will be React, and the back end, the most part will be Java and Node. And the database will be MySQL and MongoDB. So I'll talk about all this in later slides. Yeah, so I'll mostly talk about my experience and opinions here. So I'll start with the trending domain for the future, like top 6 trending domains. So I'll start with the data engineering. So why I have specified the data engineering as first is because currently earlier the data was not much big, and we could handle it in the MySQL server or any or relational server or a single instance server, which can be vertically scalable. But currently, because of the digitalization and the data is very huge across the world, and we won't be able to we are getting insights based on the data. So currently, maybe if you think why data is important, people will say data is the new oil and everything. Why the data is important, I'll say, like, so if you take company named BharatPe, so their model is mainly in predicting the CIBIL score of the particular user who's using the app application BharatPe, and they provide loan based on the previous transactions what they have made. So suppose if the user is credible, and if the user has been using this application for so much of time, and the user is credible and he has a good inflow amount, he will be adding his CIBIL score, and or they don't have a current CIBIL score kind of thing. They have a points, the credit points. So they analyze all this based on the data they have, and the data is not small, like a million data, or it will be a billion, and it can be a trillion also. So in order to handle all those data, right, so each and every company will be giving a more important to data engineering in the future, or currently it's also giving, like even PayPal has a lot of requirement for data engineers, and the data engineers, because the data is huge and we need to analyze the data, and we need to get a lot of insight of it, and those insight are really providing a lot of value to the company. So that's why the data engineering domain is growing. Yeah, so I'm just before talking the full stack development, I'm just going over the other tech stack as well, so you will have an understanding how the full stack comes in to all these things. So this is data engineering, okay. And then there comes cloud engineering. So what is cloud? Most of you will know what is cloud, but why it is needed? Like we can have a server, right, in our company, like we can have a warehouse, and we can have lot of servers, but a lot of companies will move to cloud, or most of companies has been moved to cloud, because the data is huge and the computation is huge, and we need to compute everything without having the server cost. So if we are having the server in our in-house or in our office, like we have to maintain it, and we have to secure it, and we have to pay the cost even if we are using it or not using it. Suppose there will be a huge demand at one particular period of time, so like WhatsApp will be having its high time in New Year and Christmas, because people wish each other at that time. And even in Amazon, Flipkart, during those big billion days or Great Indian Deal, the transactions will be huge, right? It will be huge. So at that time we need to span up a lot of instances or a lot of clusters of servers. So service of something like a computer, like we'll be putting up a lot of computers on the need basis. And also it is just not just about the instances or compute engine which cloud provides. It is also providing a lot of services where we won't be able to do it in our warehouse, and we need to do a lot of setup, and the maintainability cost will be higher. So what the product companies or what the companies does is, um, it will think about only the business case, what we are going to do and what we should do, and they delegate their work to the cloud. So the cloud does the heavy part on the, and we get the result. That's the important thing. So in this fast paced world, we need the result fast, and we need the maintainability as low as possible, and we need the cost as low as possible. So going to cloud, the cost will be reduced and the maintainability will be reduced, and and the performance and the output what we get will be the better. So that's why they go into cloud. And there are a lot of players like Google, there is Google Cloud and Azure, Microsoft's, and Amazon AWS. So these are the three major cloud platforms what is going. If you're getting this, so Google is providing certifications for data engineer as well as cloud engineer. So it is a certification. It is a bit tough certification. If you are just want to pursue data engineer, you can just get a certification. You can go to the try Udemy courses and get a data engineer and cloud engineering certifications. Okay, and then there comes cyber security. So because the data is huge and all our personal data is there in our in the server, and every data is there, and also we need to secure them because of this COVID times. The number of people are trying to hack a lot, and each and every big giant companies are facing a lot of problems in stopping it, and as well as the policies are being growing. So if a company needs to store some data like a personal information of someone, they have to follow a lot of policies like CCPA, GDPR, and all these are European and US policies, and India is also some of the policies. So the company has to follow all these policies. In order to follow all this, we need to cyber security experts to validate whether these policies are being done right. And also because even currently in IoT, the data is being is constantly be sending to server like Alexa and Google Home. Everything is constantly sending the data, right? So people will be trying to hack it every way possible, and the cyber security is also a great domain in the future. And the ML and AI, so that is a very interesting domain, and it has a lot of value, because if the data has come into the server and we have to predict some models on it, or if you want to predict something, or if you want to bring some value out of the data, and if the company is based on the value which it brings, and most of the companies, or maybe about 80% of the companies are going to have this ML and AI as mandatory in their applications, so that because the data is important, and in order to get collect information from analysis of the data, they apply ML and AI and get analysis, and they get some valid insights out of it. So at that part of view, MLA is very cool and very interesting subject. And whatever company I have went through, I have seen this ML or AI being used. even in small scale company as well as in the large scale company, because it gives that much uh, input to the company, or that much value to the company. So this metaverse and blockchain and IoT are like, IoT has been is in a trend word from a lot of years, but the hardware was the problem. Like the credibility of the hardware was not that much. But currently, if you can see Alexa and Google Home and some of this Tesla cars and everything has a lot of IoT products within it, and that's going to be huge. And understanding the IoT, and that is also an interesting topic. And people say that there will be a lot of even the water bottle what we drink will have some IoT connected to it, with the Wi-Fi connected to it. Or if the coffee, it will tell how much is the coffee good or not, or if the coffee has amount of heat, the temperature is good or not, and it will collect some data. Like IoT can be anywhere, right? So it is a device. Maybe we will be having a device connected in our head, like Elon Musk said. It will be there in our head all the time. So IoT is also an interesting topic, and that it is also a diverse topic. It will be a unique domain. And there is also metaverse. Metaverse is a kind of existing thing, but it has been in a trending because of Facebook. Here, the metaverse, we will be the connectivity, because everyone is in their home and everything is going virtual. Even the marriages as well are going virtual. So the metaverse is a nice thing to learn. Maybe currently some of the clients need metaverse because of some extraordinary requirement. In order to start with metaverse, you can just check Facebook's Spark website, where they Spark tool, they help develop metaverse. And there is blockchain. And blockchain, like, it is not complicated as it looks. It is simple to develop, and it needs a lot of machines to work on. And it is secure, is what people promise. And not sure about whether blockchain will be huge, but people recommend blockchain. Metaverse maybe going to be in the future, and IoT is definitely going to be in the future. And these are all the trending domains for the future. So now let's come to our topic. So how full stack development um, connect with all this? So this is data engineering, right? So in order to, in the data engineering of the cloud and the cyber security and the MLA, everything, in order to connect with the user, they need some website to have. And that website needs a server to handle all the request and response. And the server needs something to get and store and get and update anything in the backend. So there is where the full stack development comes in. So full stack was not very like trending. So full stack was not very trending years back. So if I just show you, so it is just while I was in the college and all, there was no much, but currently there was a huge hype where the full stack development. Are you able to see my screen? Yeah. Okay. There was a huge jump, and then it is getting a bit low nowadays. But that's fine. So that's full stack development. Currently there's a huge supply as well as demand in full stack development. So it is an easier to learn, but there is some cons, and there's a lot of pros also. I'll tell about it. So yeah. So what is full stack development? So full stack development, this is an old image. I got it from the internet. Full stack development is the front end. Don't consider this AngularJS. HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript, either AngularJS or React or Vue.js may comprise all the front end. And Agile is a system where we how the way we work in the project. It is very simple. You can just learn it in one day or so. And user experience design, just you need to read some blocks of it. But I'll just say the important things are front end, back end, and the databases, and little bit of DevOps. So front end, back end, database, and little bit of DevOps are the major things for full stack development. So if you are more into UI thing, front end thing, you can also look at the design, UI, UX, and all. But if you're in a more of back end thing, you definitely back end or front end, you definitely need to know front end with full stack. You definitely need to know how SQL works, and there are some theorems like CAP theorem and asset properties and normalization. These three are very important for any databases. And what is the difference between NoSQL and SQL? All those are very good, very important in databases. And there is backend. So don't look into this thing wordings inside it. I'll talk about it later. And the DevOps. DevOps is also like the full stack. People are requiring DevOps in the job requirement. How to like find what company needs, right? So go to their career page and go to just scroll through their job requirements. If you scroll through the job requirements, you will find what all they need and learn it. So like if you go to PayPal and PayPal careers, or Facebook and go to Facebook careers, you will understand what all they need. So take a note of it, and have a bullet points on what all you need to learn, and just start working on it. Because maybe you will not be 100% in everything, but you can slowly learn. Because here in the front end, if you take the front end itself, the front end is developing per day. Each day, it was earlier it was like months or years, but currently the front end part, or the part, we have to like to read a lot of blogs, and because of this framework. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript are plain, and then React is also good, but we need to understand the internal core architecture of React in order to outshine all this. In order to have a show light on you, you have to understand the internal architecture of React as well, in order to crack into big giant companies, right? So initially for freshers, what I would say is like have the basics right, and I'll have the basics right, and I'll tell what all the things are very important for the job interviews. Currently you're all in college, right? So and one of the major interesting topic of full stack developer is you need to understand why full stack developer. So why I am going to learn full stack development? So I learned full stack development because I wanted to know how the flow works. So how the internet works first initially. So I didn't know how server was taking the data and populating to the web. So if I type docs.google.com, how did it go to the server? Or what was the way? It was like, first if I hit enter here, it will go to my browser, and it will go to the CPU's cache in order to find the domain name, in order to find its IP. And then from this domain, from this OS, it will go to the router, our Wi-Fi router, or any router which is there in the nearest common ancestor. Like it will check whether this domain has its IP address, and then if not, it will go to the service provider, and from service provider it will go to this servers and get the IP, and it will communicate, it will open a TCP connection, and from that TCP connection we'll be getting this from the internet, the server response. What happens if the HTML is so big, how it will stream the data? So all those things initially you might need to understand, so the basic things. So how I'll talk about those topics in the later coming slides. um, so why I just got deviated. So why full stack development is like, I wanted to know how things work, and also I wanted to do a startup in the future. But initially I had the whole fire of doing the startup while after leaving the college. But after joining company in and understanding what I was thinking, like I'll join a startup and then I'll understand how these things work. And then I understood there are a lot of things for me to know more. And then I'm currently like learning a lot of full stack development and everything. So this learning is an ever growing process. And currently you guys will be in a fire, like I need to create something, like, or I need to create some application that's going to be an awesome next Facebook, or next some metaverse, or next something great, right? So what I say is like, do it. The Google has everything, and if you have a good internet connections, and if you have Google, and that's fine, that you can do anything and everything. So the other question is what tech stack. So in the coming to the point of full stack development, what tech stack should I use is the main question. MERN or mean. So R is React, this is Mongo, Express, React and Node, Mongo, Express and Angular and Node. So I was also a bit confused on what tech stack to be I should choose. So this was the question that I was questioning my first company. So what my team lead said was to do it myself. So do the pros and cons, and and don't do a golden hammer rule. So I didn't understand what is golden hammer. And then I came to know, like, I just so golden hammer is something, if you know something, right? If you have one second, if you know some technology and you apply this technology in everything you get it. So suppose if they ask to do something, the only technology if you know is React, and you go with React and apply the solution, that is not the correct way. So the golden hammer, what it says is, if there is a requirement, and if there is a better solution, different technology, understand the technology and apply to it. So don't apply everything in a single technology and apply it. So if you just check in startups, right? Startup, they will be using a lot of open source and a lot of languages. Like, they will not be constrained into single language like Java or React. They'll be open to a lot of the one server will be running in Go, one server might be running in Python, and what they will be trying it out a lot of servers, a lot of languages. So that's the major thing. Currently React is being more popular, and based on the community support and everything, in the MERN stack, React, I would say everyone to learn React than Angular, because React is more popular than Angular. And currently Vue, and there is something called Remix, which is also getting popular. So it's always best to be in the latest technology stack and learn the latest technology stack, because it is these things. We are in this full stack development is application development. So application development is in the topest layer, right? So this application layer has a lot of change in in every month or every day. So you have to learn every day. Like it is currently about, I have 5 years of experience. Still, I need to learn a lot of technologies, and I'm not an expert in a lot of technologies. I have to learn the internal architecture and everything in order to move ahead, or be the spotlight in a company like that. So these are the just like overall picture of full stack development. So the full stack development means only simply 3 things: front end development and back end development and server front end development, back end development, and the databases. So if you know these 3, then you can call yourself as a full stack developer. There will be a lot of opinions. Others will say we also need to know DevOps, and some will say we also need to know Agile process. So these things are right. Like the people are making things, but what I say is like these are the main 3 core concepts: front end, back end, and databases. Earlier, this full stack development was not there. Either it was a front end guy, or a back end guy, or a database guy. Currently, because and the cost will be higher for having 3 guys working for a single application, right? Currently, in order to shorten the gaps, and in order to get hold all the 3 technologies, people are asking for a full stack developer, so that they gave like a wholesale pack. So that's the thing. So if you are more skilled, you'll be on demand. That is the one best thing of technology and development. So currently you guys are freshers. So I wanted to more focus on the interview perspective on how do you go into full stack development at the initial phase. So if you want to crack a big giant company, right, like Facebook or Google, the first round will be in any full stack will be a DSN algo. So if you go to Google or on Facebook, you will definitely need to learn DSN algo. There is no other way of going into it. Maybe in the other domains, the data engineering and cloud, there won't be much of a DSN algo, but this full stack needs a lot of DSN algo in order to go into it. And also you need to know object-oriented programming and functional programming. So initially, while I was in college, I didn't know why. What is the exact benefit? I understood OOPS, but what is the exact benefit out OOPS? I was not sure about it. This was the one good book what I read, Head First: Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. So this will say why we need object-oriented programming is better than the procedural. What we write, we can make things work in the procedural way as well as in the OOPS way, right? So that's the OOP. And there's something which is coming, which is vibrant and which a lot of developers loves, is functional programming. This will be the future in if you go to Go or OOPS will be there definitely, but functional programming will make the code more declarative, and the declarative in the sense it will be like more readable, and you can make the code very readable, and it will be like less bugs, because if we the procedural way will be the imperative way will be more verbose or more like we won't be knowing, the readability will be less, but the functional programming, the readability will be more, and it will be declarative, and it will be more awesome. You just need to check the first, you just understand OOPS, and also you read about functional programming. If you are going into a front end specific application, front end functional programming is very important for that, and also some of the servers like Go and Elixir and Erlang, as well as Scala, everything has functional programming. So you need to go into it. So I'll share all the links, and I'll also share this slide so that you don't have to just read through this link. This is the Head First Object-Oriented Analysis and Design book. And the other thing is the design principles. So design principles. So this more often people won't talk, but this design principles is very important. So after learning object-oriented programming, right? So there are a lot of design principles: creation pattern, abstract factory, builder pattern, factory method, object pool, prototype, singleton pattern. So first you also need to learn this solid principles, and first understand the solid principle, and then come and learn all this all these patterns. So these patterns will help us tell you how to use this object oriented language in an best manner. So what are the anti patterns? So these design patterns are created by experts in order to make the code scalable and readable and everything. So it has a lot of benefits. So if you can read through this, right, it will be a lot beneficial for you, but it is not mandatory thing. But understanding, if you are in a backend guy, right, understanding this will be a one priority. Slowly you can learn. Don't take it hard, but slowly you can learn. Even the lead code, right? Lead code is very hard. Coding, sorry, DSN is hard, and you need to practice. Initially it will be like an Himalayan mountain, but if you are going near it every day, and if you are seeing it every day, maybe that Himalayan mountain maybe like be a stone in the future. So even I was having trouble in solving dynamic programming earlier days, and I didn't know how people solve it, and I was like afraid how these YouTubers or how these other programming guys are solving it. I was like little afraid of it, but after preparing some of the interviews and cracking it, slowly things are getting easier. So don't worry on the initial phase. Don't judge yourself on the first phase itself. Give yourself time. Don't give a limited time. Like these are the things anyone can learn. Even I am learning it in order to understand more. So but OOPS is mandatory. Like OOPS, you have to understand it in order to crack, I think, in the interviews. So learn OOPS and have some DSN algorithm. And design principles, most companies don't ask, but some of the companies asks. If you know, it's better. And this system design currently, way back in my time, there was no system design round in the initial phase, but currently some companies are asking for a system design and understanding how you guys are freshers, right? So you don't have to understand in depth, but just this is the one of the best website in the world where we understand about the system design. They do a case study about all this YouTube and everything. So that'll be great. So all these things what I have written as the best websites what I have got from all of these years. So don't worry about it. So just you can go through it. And I'll talk about the front end path. Okay. So there is a website called roadmap.sh. Okay. So that is a very good website. So this roadmap.sh has the pathway how to move from front end, move into front end, or move into back end, or move into DevOps. So comparison of all these three. Yeah, I'll be sharing this PPT. Yeah. So comparison of front end, back end, and DevOps, right? This will be a full stack. So I'll start with the front end development. So this is yeah. this shows us how to move towards front-end development, how to begin. So from zero to an expert, this will help us in move on. Okay, so first you need to know how internet works. So this is the basic. This you need to know. You can check with anyone, or you can learn through the internet. So you can Google. One of the best site what I found was like what yeah, so this blog, I also shared this link. So this blog will help us to understand what will happen when you type this URL in the browser and press enter. I'll share this here. I didn't add this in the PPT, but I have added it here. So this will help what is happening this blog. So read a lot of Medium blogs and also a lot of blogs, because blogs comes first, and then after some time only, like after a few years only, the YouTube videos catch up on these things. But I have not seen the value in the blogs are more informative than the YouTube videos is what I feel. That's one thing I want to share. Like this will okay. Sorry. How to so this will help us to help you understand what how the internet works, everything. And then okay, don't go through that link right now. I'm sharing this screen. You can I'll just share every document to the coordinators, and then you need to understand how HTML works. So if you are going through this front-end architecture, right? So there is some website called Front-End Master. So yeah, this will help us in from learning the. Don't go to this W3 schools. That has not much information and how not much information on how things work properly. So this is cool. This is good, and I think this is free as well. Just go through it. So HTML. So this is the path I'll say, and you can have a lot of other ways of learning it as well. So HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. And then you need to know this Git. So Git is like you need to take about 2 hours of time, and you maybe 1 day or 2 days maybe, but you need to understand how to add something to Git, and how to revert it, and how to add something. So how to work in GitHub. So that's one important thing, because people are needs to we all work in a single repository. So currently if you're working in a group, you all push it to in a single file system, right? So but if you are putting into single file system, there will be a lot of confusions, which file should go first, which file should go second. So that's why they company has brought in this versioning. GitHub is a version control system, where it will control which version should come first, which version should come next, and all. So that is nice. And the JavaScript is a big version, and you have to understand it. I think a YouTuber called Akshay Saini or something, he helps us to teach the core concepts of JavaScript easily. Okay, so if you are just but for the initial phase, what I'll say is just start application. Just write application with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. and then try to have GitHub. GitHub is free for private use, like a personal use, and then also understand how HTTP works. And when you are developing this, right, you will have this CORS issue and the security risks. So you just understand all this, and the CSS, how CSS work, and there is something called CSS preprocessor, so that we can add some JavaScript into CSS and manipulate the CSS and make the website good. And in order to, if we are just using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, we don't need this Webpack and other things. But when this library is right, React and this, if you are using CSS preprocessor and all, you have to have this Webpack. Webpack, what it will do is it will combine all the files and make it into a single file, or combine multiple files and give it in a distributed files. So all these are done by Webpack. You don't need to understand Webpack largely, but if you are using React app, once again, there is some question. We have to first. Yeah, you have to understand OOPS, because OOPS is one important thing in backend, very important thing in backend, because we consider all the documents or collections as an object, and OOPS is very required. But if you are doing an small applications, right, if you are doing it for yourself or any small company, that's not needed. But if you're going to do any good startup or any big company, OOPS is very, very important, and learn OOPS. Yeah. So then if you understand this, right, and you need to pick a framework. So this purple tick is what I also recommend. Go with React and also Redux. Redux is a state management. State management. It is like a database for front end. It is for front end. So the value we store, like the form data, like my name and address and everything, or the UI should come in this place and that place. All the data what React has is stored in Redux. It is a nice way. It is an interesting topic to learn, React and Redux, and then and for the freshers, these all are enough. But in order to get a good understanding of front-end developer, to be an expert, you need to understand all these concepts, because after getting into interview, you will be working in a fast-paced environment. You will be working and delivering it. You will be working and delivering. If you want to scale yourself in the best front-end developer in the environment or in the developers world, you need to understand all these concepts. Either else it is not, it's fine. But my advice to you guys is like understand HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and learn some React. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and learn some React and Redux. And then if you have time, right, you go into all these subtopics which has purple tick, and then move forward. So this is the front-end development part. And then I will go to the backend part. So backend is also the same. Like we need to know how the internet works and how the HTTP works, and browser, how they work, what is hosting. So currently host a website. Yeah, you guys can host there is a lot of free domain hosters. Like you can host a website like Firebase or something on net. There are a lot of websites. You can just Google free hosting. There will be tons of websites. So try to do that. And then this OS in general knowledge, you will have to know how OS work, because the backend server utilizes the CPU as well as the cores in it, and the memory management, everything the backend uses, right? Backend is bit more complex than front end. That's why the backend guys are paid more. So there are a lot of things we need to learn in OS and general knowledge, like threads and concurrency, process management, how OSs are in general, like that. And then you can learn either one of this either languages, like JavaScript also comes under backend because Node supports it, right? So there is something called Node.js, and JavaScript can run in both front end as well as back end. So if you learn JavaScript, um, you have an extra functionality of understanding the front end as well. So Go is one of the greatest server, which is being very robust and very fast than Java or JavaScript. And it's also functional, and a lot of startups is going with Go, and Python is way trending, and Python is being used in data engineering side as well as everywhere. So I would say learn Python, learn JavaScript, uh, and suppose if you're going to this most companies have been using Java, right? So if they want to move the service from Java to another application, it will be a long process. So they are still using Java. A lot of companies, even PayPal is using Java, and Amazon and Microsoft are using Java in their applications. So if you are a Java backend developer, you can also, if you want to go these companies, because if we see in the job requirement, right, the Java developers has some requirement as well. Some Go and other language like Rust and all are being used in a lot of very good startups, and the ability of these languages are more better. uh, just check it out if you want to as well. And PHP is an easy language where you can do for a small understand a little bit concepts of easy to host and everything. So PHP is being inspired, and in JavaScript there is a remix there which has been inspired by PHP and written and all. And same way GitHub, you have to know GitHub. And then here comes the SQL part. You have to either, you should learn SQL and NoSQL as well. So SQL, you have to learn this Postgres SQL, where you need to write queries and everything. And NoSQL, you have to write Mongo database. NoSQL is quite simpler, and SQL is mandatory for a backend developer. And you need to know this ORM, ACID property, transactions. If one transaction fails, what will happen to the corresponding other transactions, all those. And about caching, all these other things you don't need to learn. Just you have to you don't need to means, I mean, like, these are the important topics: SQL, NoSQL, and normalization, ACID properties, cap theorem. All those are important. You can go with that. So those are the basic things. And OOPS, this OOPS is all not mentioned here, but OOPS is mandatory. So these are some patterns: solid pattern, KISS pattern, Yagni pattern, dry pattern. So these pattern you can learn slowly, but solid pattern is very important. And KISS pattern is also, yeah, all this four are like a lot important. You can learn it slowly. Don't take it hard. And DevOps is what to say, you need to learn about Linux commands, and you need to learn about the how Nginx and Jenkins work. If you go through this purple tick, right, you will be able to understand what all to learn. The major thing what I'll propose is learn Jenkins, learn how CI/CD works, and learn GitHub. That's it. So if you want to be an expert in it, like, you can go through all these things. So each and everything is an ocean. Don't just assume it is a simple thing, but it is simple to learn, and it is simple to crack an interview, but you have to learn it further after you get into a job. So for a job interview, these are these are the main things important. DSN algo you will be able to crack, and some amount of OOPS and some amount of system design is quite fine. So this is front end, this is back end, and yeah. So I was thinking to have an example of MongoDB, Node and Express and React. So for you guys, right, you can try to connect React app with Node Express and connect with MongoDB. So how React should communicate with Node Express, and the node should communicate with through MongoDB and get some data to it. It is simple as that. So you can store some name, you can have it on input field in React, and you can store it in the Node.js, and Node.js should be storing it to the MongoDB. And from MongoDB, if you are getting the data to the Node.js, to the React, that will be fine. So you will be a full stack developer. That's it. So create a simple application like this. So it is quite simple. You just need to explore and learn. There is no time constraint. You can just learn. So why React? Maybe because it is a trending language. A lot of job requirements are there. If you learn React, what are the benefits out of it? Is like you can also learn React Native, which is also called as mobile, which is a mobile development. And in mobile development, currently the trending ones are either Flutter or React Native. Both Flutter and React Native are performing very well. You just can, the front end doesn't mean only web application, but also Android as well as iOS development as well. So Flutter and React Native are giving a lot of benefits. You can also explore about it. Okay, and connecting everything and how it is running, and it is very quick setup. I have you can do it in maybe if you are understanding it well, you can do it in one day, or if you can take 2 to 3 days in doing this. It is, I need a GET API which will call the node server, and the node server will get the data from the MongoDB, and from MongoDB we'll get back the data response, and from the response it should go to the server. That is the only thing we need to do here. You guys just try it and let us know. Yeah. So C++ is required on the game algorithms, or is it necessary to learn? Yeah, C++ is required to learn for the object-oriented itself. So things are built upon C++. So and also for the so even JavaScript as well as Java, everything is built upon that. So you can learn C++, but some company requires C++, but most company are requiring this frameworks only, like Java, Spring framework and everything. But for the college perspective, right, C++ is fine, but also you need to understand the OOPS. If you are going with C, that is procedural, that's fine. But if you're C++, you need to understand the object-oriented programming. Python on backend is very good. Python is a very good language, and it has been used in a lot of startups. And also it is very simple and easier than Java. And also it is used for the data engineering part of it also, and also in the machine learning side. So definitely you guys need to understand Python, not just for the interview, but for understanding the technology. It will be yeah. So is it important to learn JavaScript before React? Yes, definitely true. You should understand JavaScript before React. Else it will be, you will be stuck on some problem, and you will be debugging it whole a lot of time. But if you learn JavaScript, right, JavaScript is simplest to start. So you can run through some JavaScript course, and then you can just start React. For the JavaScript, right, the best site is MDN, Mozilla's website, MDN. So than W3 schools, go if you find MDN solution, go to MDN. This is the best site for JavaScript. So here for if you go through this guide, right, it will be helpful for you. I'll also add this. Yeah. Yeah, that's it from me. Okay. Be brave enough to suck at something new is what I like. You need to dare to do. You should not be afraid of anything new. You should always try, and you should not take anything personally, and you have to move forward and develop new things. That's it. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, team.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, sure. Okay.
can you share the PPT?
Yeah, sure. I'll share the PPT.
Excuse me, sir. Hello?
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I am doing a training and internship in full stack development only with Java.
Okay.
So, as I have communicated with many people, a company as a fresher doesn't consider like what I concluded with it is like, does a company prefer a fresher to be a full stack developer?
Yeah, currently, let I'll let you think it like in a interviewer company perspective. So if you are a full stack developer, right, I would be happy to take you in. Then you'll be in then you'll be in just a little knowledge on programming alone. So because the competition is high, it's better to learn full stack as well. If you are not just coding, like not just algorithms and DSN algo, just create two applications, to understand how things work. That's it. So it will be easier for you. So it will be easier for you to crack. And if some interviewers ask these things, right, it will be helpful for you to describe what is happening. Other than that, for a fresher, this is fine. Can you tell something about AWS? Did I clear the question?
Yes, sir, I got it. Like, it will be more beneficial for me if the company is asking for a single technology also, then I can give insight on many as well.
Yeah, you can shine more in college, company. And can you tell me something about AWS? Yeah. So AWS, yeah.
You are asking me or like you are telling?
No. Like I am just reading the questions which is there in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm just checking the chat. Can you tell something about AWS? Yes. So AWS comes under this cloud engineering, and AWS has AWS certification has a lot of benefits. And also, if you learn AWS, it's easy to learn Google Cloud, and also Azure. And because the companies are moving to cloud, can you guys mute? Yeah, if you are moving to cloud, right? It'll be each and every companies are moving to cloud, so that's why it's beneficial. If you're joining a big company or any company, AWS is perfectly good for you to learn. Yeah. How much we need the expertise CSS? So I can understand that from the question. CSS is a bit difficult in the initial, like Abhay has asked how much we need to expertise in CSS. Currently in CSS, for a fresher, you just understand how CSS are working, and you don't need to be the expert of CSS, but you understand like a little bit of how to make things work. That's it. And you slowly, by practice only, CSS by practice only, you will be able to get CSS right. And there is also a lot of practice site for CSS. And you need to understand the layer properties, display flex, display grid, everything. So that is important. Yeah, I'll share it with the coordinators about the PPT. Can you share some free cloud platform? So Google Cloud and AWS and everything provides some free tiers. So if you are hosting a website also, AWS has some 1 year of free service where and also Google provides $300 of free service. So you can opt for it. How many language required to make robot? Okay. For this robot, I can think of like IoT devices. What you're meaning, Rohit? So IoT morely it's I have worked on C++ as well as C only, and Arduino's code. So maybe you have to focus on C and C++ in the IoT world. Because I done the MasterCard and Visa, I can able. Okay. You will please help me with Google. Okay, you need to get it from someone and start. That's it. Tanshik. It will not charge them, right? So you can disconnect after some year or like 1 month. They definitely get the MasterCard and Visa card initially. Yeah, that's true. Maybe I don't know whether we can bypass that, but I'll check. Vishu, how much time will take to learn a full stack developer if you are beginning from now? So as I said, no, there is no time limit. If you are developing some applications, right, you will be Vishnu. If you're developing some applications, you will be interested. You will be a full stack developer, like from end to end, from the front end to the back end. Can you tell about your skills gained till now on your field? Okay. So there is one. Yeah, I joined the meeting due to some problem. Okay. Yeah. So all these questions, right? Can you this about the recording and the PPT? I'll share the PPT as well. I don't know whether this is for everyone. I'll just share. I'll send it to mail to Soundarajan sir, and you guys can take it from there. Everybody is requested to fill the feedback form. Okay. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, coordinators.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So this is
Thank you, sir.
Mayuri, sir. So thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. You have shared the whole roadmap, how the students can develop themselves to get into this field. So you have also shared with us all the necessary information regarding what is the use of learning the object-oriented concepts. So how the front-end architecture and the back-end architecture works, the insights of GitHub, how the need for hosting the website, the operating system, and other essential programming languages that are used in backend and front end. And also you have covered the database framework, the use of DevOps, and you have also shared how to crack the interview. So that was the main part. All the students were motivated. So it was also so good that you have given the steps to connect the front end, back end, and the database. So hope every student got the insights what all they have to focus to become a successful full stack developer. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, you have muted yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you, team. Thank you, Mayuri, for all this. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It was a very good session, sir. Thank you. Over to Nishi.
Yes, ma'am. True, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, for such an interesting session on full stack web development and beautifully explaining the intricate details and also guiding our students on the career opportunities. I'm sure our participants enjoyed the session too. With this, we come to an end of our webinar on full stack web development and career opportunities organized by the Artificial Intelligence Club of VIT Bhopal. I would like to extend thanks to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Rahul, for taking his time out and delivering such a valuable session. Our division head, Dr. S. Southaranjan sir, our faculty coordinator, Dr. AVR Mayuri ma'am, and all the student coordinators for their efforts in conducting this event in the most successful way and trusting us with this. I would also like to thank our wonderful audience for the patience and enthusiasm you all brought to this event. Your energy and interest to learn something were unparalleled and a key factor for the success of the event. Thank you everyone for joining in. I hope you all have a great day ahead. Also, I request the audience to fill out the feedback form given in the chat box so that we can improvise in the future events. Thank you so much.